Brian Wood. I'm the PR manager here at Wolfram. Today I'm going to be speaking with Brad Janes, who's the WolframAlpha Math Content Manager. He's here to talk a little bit about what's new in WolframAlpha Notebook Edition, mostly math features, and a little bit about, what's new in WolframAlpha itself. So how you doing today, Brad?
Doing great. Thanks, Brian.
Awesome. So tell us, what it looks like WolframAlpha Notebook Edition is just about a year old. So how does that feel?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's one of my most favorite projects that I've worked on since I've been at Wolfram. It kind of marries the unique features of both WolframAlpha itself and the notebook environment that we have all grown used to over the 35 plus years at Mathematica.
Right on. So I was going to say you can maybe give people a little bit of an idea of what that's like, but why don't we just dive into your notebook and you can show people sort of in real time what's up.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So this is the WolframAlpha notebook environment, WolframAlpha Notebook Edition, and just like with WolframAlpha, you can enter any of your plain text English language queries and it will interpret them. So anyways, one of the things that I was wanting to show off in this talk was some of the new developments that we have made on the WolframAlpha math team for in our Stepbystep. Stepbystep is our most popular feature far and away in WolframAlpha. And here we have it working natively in the WolframAlpha Notebook Edition. You can ask for any of the math questions that you normally ask for. If you ask for show steps for them, then the thing that gets returned is those steps themselves. So we can see, here is an area between curves query. And this is one of our brand new step-by-step features that we've added, I think just this spring. So here we have our the hints and the steps that you would see on the website, but here we have them in line in the notebook. And then you can kind of go through and see what the answer ends up being. Some of our other steps programs that we have angle between curves, and we added a couple new ones, both this norm, vector norm, and some limit definition derivative steps. These two are extra exciting because they were added by interns that we had over the summer.
Oh, well, congratulations to them. That's a pretty cool accomplishment.
Yeah, so just a few short months here, they were able to add a step-by-step program, not just for the WolframAlpha website, but it's also working in the notebook environment as well.
Excellent. So these step-by-steps, they look very nice. Is that the main point, or is there anything you can pull from these that you can compute on further, or are these sort of just self-contained little sort of tutorials, if that makes sense?
Right. Yeah. The step-by-step themselves are designed to kind of walk you through how a human or a student studying that material, how they might compute that if they're doing it by hand. So there's not really anything we can do to kind of chain this in with another query. But
in theory, you could go through these steps and WolframAlpha would understand, if you're entering it in there, you could get a lot of those same and interim results.
If you're not asking for steps, you can ask for just the angle between the vectors and you can get that end result then, and then do subsequent computations with it.
Okay, makes sense.
So
what else, aside from the step-by-step, what are some other new features that you've got here?
So one of the other cool things that we've done with the WolframAlpha Notebook Edition is made more use of the Wolfram function repository. So there's a lot of things that in the WolframAlpha Notebook Edition, what we try to do is convert a user's query, a user's input into a Wolfram language function. But some things, especially things that we have in WolframAlpha, they don't already have a direct Wolfram language analog. So that's where the function repository comes in, where anyone, including either developers or hobbyists or anybody, can create their own function, and it can be added to the system essentially as a Wolfram language symbol. So Here's one of the more neat ones that our team has worked on, this curve analysis feature. And what it does is it makes this nice, colorful, interactive plot that lets you kind of highlight different features of a particular function.
Okay.
And this is computed live as soon as you run the query. So if you wanted to kind of highlight what's one period of this particular function, or say you're studying calculus and you wanted to explore the relationship between the derivative and the stationary points, you can turn both of those features on and see, oh, the stationary points, which are these little diamonds, they represent where the derivative function, which is this kind of dashed line, where it crosses the x-axis. So you can see that relationship nice and easy. Yeah, it's very neat.
Yeah, so this seems like, I mean, this almost looks like the kind of diagram that you might see on like a slideshow in class, like during a lecture, except it's kind of a little more interactive, I guess, which I think is always a good way to learn things. Just be able to poke around at it.
For sure, and you can kind of turn things on and off depending on what exactly you're looking for. You can change the background. You can add like a drop down with the mouse over. Yeah, I really like the black background, and
nice.
You can do some drop lines here, so it'll kind of show where you're at on the main curve there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then for different functions, it might highlight different kinds of properties, right? Sine is a typical curve that will show your derivative and integral. Here's one that also has some things like discontinuities or limits or derivatives or asymptotes and things like that. So
wow. So it seems like that curve analysis is a pretty comprehensive function. Then it sort of does a lot of heavy lifting there. That's very nice.
And it's using the Wolfram function repository. So anyone has access to this particular function, whether you're in the WolframAlpha Notebook edition or just in a normal Wolfram language notebook, whether that's on the cloud or in your Mathematica environment.
Yeah, and in this case, it's interesting that the code almost looks exactly like the natural language query that you've got up there. It's it's just a few small differences. So very cool.
The typically, or pretty much the only additional thing is this second argument here, which is just specifying what is the independent variable for this particular function.
Function of x.
Exactly.
Right on. All right. So what else? What else do we have here?
One of the things that I find most interesting about the WolframAlpha Notebook Edition is, again, the ability to do kind of sequential computations. And here's one, and I'm a little afraid to evaluate because of the connectivity issues we were having earlier. But this is a problem from a computer math competition exam. Typically, this is a competition where people are using different programming languages to kind of answer these really complicated questions. So in this case, the question was something along the lines of, what is the maximum value of the determinant of this 4x4 matrix on a given interval? And typically, like that's definitely too complicated of a thing that you can ask WolframAlpha in one line, but here we're able to do it in just 3 kind of questions here. So the first one, we're defining that matrix, that 4x4 matrix, as this variable m, and then we're setting f to be the determinant of m. And again, all I'm doing is typing in what you would what you would say out loud, or what you're doing in your head to do this problem. And then I just say, max of f for x between these 2 numbers, and in just a couple of seconds, we're able to understand what you meant, convert it to Wolfram language syntax, and then spit out the answer here.
Right. So not only can you sort of chain commands one to the next, you can sort of keep things in memory the way that you would with with programming, or if you were using a calculator, for instance. So it seems like there's a lot of sort of the same functionality that you might want from, any calculator or math tool, all sort of built in, but in a very intuitive way. So you can just say it the way that you would normally say it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very nice.
I feel the Wolfram language already has a pretty low barrier of entry. Like the
Mhm.
function that computes the maximum value of a expression is called maximize. But sometimes like the ordering of the syntax and when you need brackets and things like that is a little confusing and ambiguous, especially to
Yeah.
someone who's new to programming. Um, I, I think the WolframAlpha Notebook Edition completely removes even that small barrier of entry that there is to perform some really high level computation.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty impressive the things that you can get just from that sort of simple workflow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so is there anything else in Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition that might be new to some people that they haven't seen before?
Yeah, one of the things that has been a big uh, important addition in the last year has been the expansion of our scientific content. So I'm just the math manager. Like we kind of stick in Numberland on my team, but we work pretty collaboratively with the other science departments, and the Stepbystep for chemistry has really come a long way in the last year. There's a recent blog post series by Jason Sonnenberg, who's the primary Stepbystep developer, and a lot of that stuff is let's just say on its way to the Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition as well. You can already do queries for various chemical properties and things, and kind of hooking in the step by step for those as well, like we have for our math content.
Right.
Should be here in the next week or two. So
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be useful in chemistry class as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Solving chemical equations
Yeah.
instead of just mathematical ones. All right, cool. So lots of interesting new features. So aside from just the function repository resources, what other kinds of things are available through that resource system in the Notebook Edition?
Sure. One of the other Wolfram technologies that we've made use of is the very popular Wolfram Demonstrations project. So if I could share again. To access this in the Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition, it's as easy as asking for demonstrations on a particular subject. So here I've typed in derivatives demonstrations, and one of the suggestions you get is an entity list of that. Click on that, and then you get this whole swath of things you can click on.
Wow, yeah.
I just clicked on this graphs of Taylor polynomials one. So this is something, kind of computes the various Taylor polynomial of a function. You can change the degree so you can get more or less curves here, and then changing the domain and range on this graph and see the different behavior. Pretty neat. And again, just from a single query, that's what I was able to get. So
yeah,
cool.
and like I said with the other one, this interactive stuff just seems really useful for anyone trying to actually learn these concepts, because I definitely remember getting pretty confused about Taylor polynomials in Calc 2. So
yeah, definitely. So again, one more really neat thing that the Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition can do that we can't quite do on the website itself. So we have some interactive elements on the website, but nothing compares to what you can do within a notebook.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for showing me some of this stuff that's new in Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition.
Of course.
We got new math, new step-by-step interactive stuff, resource access. So hopefully people are enjoying using it, and definitely recommend any students or teachers out there trying to figure out a good way to run, math courses, or even just work on math homework.
Yeah.
Go Wolfram Alpha Notebook Edition.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us. You can check out other Wolfram Tech Talks, live coding streams, and more on the Wolfram Research YouTube channel, or see what else is new at wolfram.com.